Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us to our major conversation tonight. And I will take you to Edo State, where the political crisis in the APC has reached a fever pitch. Tension between the political heavyweights in the APC, which has dragged now to the streets and has led to some kind of violence. And so let's begin with how it all started with all of these controversies. So last week, there was an attack on the Oba of Lagos.
Yes, you can see the crowd. This is the Edo people. The Edo people, they are with Philip Schweib.
Well, it was actually, that is not the first instance. There was an attack on the Oba of Lagos, Obarilwa Akiolu, the Chancellor of Edo State University, Dr. Aderemi Makanjuola, and other guests at the residence of the National Chairman of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Adams Oshiomhole. Take a look at the amateur video on your screen. Some of the aftermath of what transpired, and you could see visibly some of those who came out the vehicle of the convoy of the governor, the vehicle conveying the governor and some of the guests to the home of Mr. Adams Oshiomhole, the national chairman of the APC. Governor Obaseki took exception to the resort to violence, noting that it was shameful and such of that kind of attack should never have happened. Take a listen to him.
We can't feel safe in the house of our national chairman. I'm not sure if I went to visit the chairman of PDP, they will attack me the way they did in the house of the national chairman of APC. It's really unfortunate that things have degenerated to this extent, but we'll continue to pursue peace. We cannot afford to lose the gains of the last 3 years, so we'll continue to pursue peace.
The governor says they will pursue peace, but he described the attack as an unfortunate incident, saying it is very unfortunate that we cannot feel safe in the house of a national chairman. Those are the words of the governor. Well, the national chairman of the APC, Mr. Adams Oshiomhole, has linked the attack to thugs that are linked to the deputy governor of the state, Mr. Philip Schweib. Mr. Oshiomhole says that the deputy governor should be blamed for the attack. And this is the reason why Mr. Oshiomhole is saying this. Take a look at this. Mr. Oshiomhole is saying, and some of these videos that you see, Channels Television cannot presently confirm this video as obtained from some of the sites or in these crises. So they say the deputy governor in that white attire is the person who brought some of those are referred to as allegedly as thugs into the community, which eventually led to the fracas that ensued in that community. Well, the deputy governor has reacted to all of this. He has said that it's not true that he was behind of the deputy governor. Said it was from the office of the deputy governor. He said the deputy governor was nowhere near lyamho on that Friday as he was fully engaged in an official matters in Benin. In fact, the deputy governor was himself a victim of the Saturday attack, considering the fact that he was actually in the same bus with the governor, Oba of Lagos, and other dignitaries. Let's get a sense of what all of this means. I have joining me from our Abuja studio, I have Mr. Andrew Lyamho. He's a constitutional lawyer, and Mr. Kasim Afegbua, a former commissioner in Edo State. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for coming on tonight on the program. Let me begin with you, Mr. Afegbua. How would you describe this incident, considering the fact that Mr. Philip Schweib, that Mr. Oshiomhole is talking about, was perhaps what you will refer to as a political godson to Mr. Oshiomhole. What do you think has happened in that scenario?
Well, thank you, Sheung, for the opportunity of this interaction. I think it's quite unfortunate that Edo State is in the news for the wrong reasons all the time. We have had a series of attacks here and there from members of the same political party. You know, this is more or less like an intra-party affair, but it's wearing a very dangerous cloak in the eyes of the public, particularly the Edo public. And so for some of us who are members of the opposition PDP, we are not finding this amusing because it's putting the state in bad light. We will expect that all the actors, both the national chairman of the APC and the governor, who is also governor of the APC, must be able to display some sense of maturity, some sense of discipline in the way and manner that they dispense with leadership at the state level. The issue of the lyamho attack is quite unfortunate, but from the video that you have shown on television right now, it is obvious that the deputy governor was the agent provocateur. If what I've seen in several other video clips, even though you call them amateur video, is anything to go by. And so to that extent, I am of the opinion, and a very considered one at that the lyamho youths ostensibly rose to the challenge posed by the deputy governor who rode on top of Okada motorbike to the venue of the Edo University lyamho, which should be a sanctuary for learning, which should be a sanctuary for discipline and orderliness. A convocation ceremony should not be a campaign rally or a campaign ground for any political party, for any governor, for any deputy governor for that matter. Because you are not only teaching people of the leadership principles and the essentials and attributes of 21st century modern leadership, you are also inviting people from far and near to come and deliver convocation lectures and also interact with a wide array of persons who have been invited for that program. So to that extent, mobilizing people to the venue or to a university environment is to me a carriage of excess kindness. And I think it's as a response to that perhaps the lyamho youths decided to respond, and that was why you saw the kind of altercations and attack that you saw on that video you showed.
Mr. Mwanta, respond to get into the conversation, please. What we saw there, we understand from what is on the ground, is some kind of political show-off that I am on the ground, I am not on the ground. Is that what transpired? Is that what you perceive or what you saw?
Yeah, thank you, Sheung. My name is Nwanta. It means truth in Benin. And I've always believed that in life, truth don't have version. It has one part and one side. The governor has said it quite clearly that there was an attack, which both sides of the divide are not arguing. But the funny part of it is the versions that has been released from the end of the national chairman. First, the issue was, there was an attack, I apologize. After apologizing, the deputy governor. After accusing the deputy governor of bringing thugs. And mind you, the people you saw riding Okada are lyamho people, because you cannot ride Okada from Benin City. And if the deputy governor of the state, being a comrade like Oshiomhole, decides to identify with Okada men who are from lyamho, of course, comrade taught them how to move with the people. So if you sit on an Okada, and again, he was wearing a suit in that video that we saw with the governor, but there he was wearing a shirt, so we cannot verify the video where he rode with Okada men. And I don't think there was any air of violence from that video we saw. Compare that video with the one that we saw people hitting the car in which the governor was riding. And in that car, we had the deputy governor who they are accusing. In that same car, we had Senator Domingo Obende. We had virtually all the dignitaries that came. And obviously, having extended an invitation to these people, to your residence, you even went as an advanced party, meaning that the people at the gate, you saw them, you entered your premises as the national chairman of the APC. These people were being attacked, you didn't come
sorry,
out.
apologies,
I
have to butt in here. Just quickly,
making calls.
Let me show you. This is perhaps this side that the governor was talking about. Take a look at that video where some of these youth were said to have, well, that's it there for you. Moment of the said attack, and this is perhaps where the governor was making reference to. So if you flip it, before I go back to Abuja studio, flip it to where Mr. Oshiomhole is talking about and how he said that the deputy governor instigated the whole violence, according to the national chairman of the APC, that the deputy governor led thugs riding on Okada. Take a look at that one.
Yes, you can see the crowd. You can see the crowd. This is the Edo people.
So let's get back to the conversation now and perhaps make a sense of what my guests tonight, Mr. Kasim Afegbua and Mr. Andrew Mwanta, have been talking on. Let me allow you, Mr. Mwanta, to come in on this one. So, are you saying that that moment where, according to Mr. Oshiomhole, that the deputy governor rode on the bike with some of these people and there was an attack because of what has happened in Benin at the residence of the national chairman, which led to the provocation on some of these youths in Lyamho?
Yeah, thank you so much, Sheung. But you should remember that the Commissioner of Police put a light to that statement of the national chairman. And funny enough, the national chairman in that video, one video that went viral, addressed a gathering of over 50 thugs. And he referred to those thugs as his foot soldiers. Only for us to wake up the following day and we started hearing stories that his house was, attacked. And of course, the Commissioner of Police has put a light to it. But very quickly, in that video, there was a young man wearing a white shirt. That man's name is Romeo. He is a youth mobilizer of a group called EPM, Edo People's Movement, which some of us think is an evil people's movement, EPM. That particular group is the political arm of what Comrade Oshiomhole and his people regard as the opposition party against a sitting APC governor. So if the national chairman claims that these people were instigated by Shaibu, can Shaibu instigate people against him when he was in that bus? Food for thought, because if the deputy governor was in that bus, they would have recognized that at least they are so-called paymaster. But the Oshiomhole who claimed that Shaibu was behind it was in his residence. If he prepared lunch, we don't know, was he attacked the lunch?
All right. Let Mr. Afegbua, Mr. Mwanta, let Mr. Afegbua, because Mr. Afegbua said earlier, Mr. Mwanta, just a moment, Mr. Afegbua said the deputy governor was like the agent provocateur of that incident. You want to react to what he said?
I will do that.
No, let Mr. Afegbua react to what you said.
I think there is no need begging this issue. I am not a spokesman for the APC in whatever guise or the national chairman. But as someone who has gone through the 4 walls of the university, I have a sense of logic. The videos you have seen, the amateur video you have shown us, show clearly that the deputy governor of the state, a number 2 citizen of the state, rode on Okada and came right to the gate, the entrance of the university, with that kind of mammoth crowd, to a point that the police and the soldiers had to shoot tear gas to disperse that crowd. There is no point begging the question that the atmosphere was already charged. Now, after the event, and they were now headed to the residence of the chairman of the APC, whose residence is directly opposite the university, you should expect that the community youths will also want to respond by way of protecting their own son. And when my friend here was saying that the deputy governor could not have ridden motorbike from Benin to lyamho, I laughed because the deputy governor is from Jatu, which is 5 kilometers away from lyamho. So I think we don't need to be begging the question and try to take sides. What happened is quite unfortunate, and I want to commend the national chairman of the APC for his sense of subliminal humility. Humility in the sense that we all know there's love lost between the two of them, himself and the governor, and he has the humility to call the governor, he said his phone rang out, and also publicly apologize to him, apologize to the Oba of Lagos, and other dignitaries whom he had invited to have lunch with him. I think that is the hallmark of leadership. Essentially, there is no business mobilizing thugs or anything you call them, or supporters, or your friends, or whatever, to the premises of a university on a convocation day. A university environment is a disciplined environment. It's a place for learning, etiquette, discipline, orderliness, and for want of a better word, a disciplined conduct. So when you now mobilize that kind of crowd to a university environment as though you were campaigning or doing a rally, there is no how you are not going to have a flashpoint or a fallback out of that kind of scenario.
Let's bring this conversation home, Mr. Afegbua, and let me go to Mr. Mwanta. Mr. Mwanta, with what has happened, the deputy governor, Mr. Shuaib, is obviously from the Oshiomhole political family in the APC in Edo State. Same with Mr. Afegbua, who is talking beside you. He also emerged from that family. Same with Mr. Obaseki, the governor. But what has happened is it at the end of an era of the leadership of Oshiomhole, with what is looking, because we've seen that happen also in some of the states where former governors are being removed in a political hierarchy in their community or in their state by their successors. Is that what is happening? Is that what is playing out?
I think you just put it mildly and directly, Sheo, because we've always had situations where in the past Oshiomhole will say, oh, he was against godfatherism, and he even organized the rally where he invited the likes of IBB who are not John 12 and what have you. So for me, it is political karma at work. This time, Adams Oshiomhole, before Aneni died, kept on wishing a man death, said many things. I remember in 2012, in the build-up to that election, when he was driving in his convoy and there was an accident, he did admit that he was the one responsible for that accident because the governor was not supposed to drive his car. But he said Chief Aneni sent a lorry, a tipper driver, because his car, the convoy collided with a tipper driver. He refused to accept the blame, but he blamed it on Aneni. So all through his lifetime, he had issues with Ugbomudia. He had issues with lyamho, who brought him out as a candidate. The Grenadians who bankroled his election and supported him in between 2006 and 2008 when he got back his mandate through the court. He fought with those people. Even Aneni that played some role, he insulted that man till the man died. And you are now trying to claim a role which is similar to that these same people played, which you criticize. So if you want to be a godfather, you should realize that.
All right, we need to close it. We are obviously out of time. We are obviously out of time.
You're fighting godfatherism, and you are not trying to take the role of a godfather. And
Mr. Afegbua, one sentence, and we need to close the program. One sentence.
Well, Sheung, thank you. Just to make the point that I was an insider, I'm still an insider, and so when those people who are outsiders are talking at times, you laugh at their ignorance. Because for what is playing out in Edo State, it's not a contest between Godfather and Godson. It's just a breach of trust, pure and simple. And I have the details of what transpired in 2016. I have the details of what is transpiring now. And at the appropriate time, we will convey that to the public.
All right. That's where we leave it. the political crisis in Edo State. Oshiomhole and Obaseki rift. Thank you so much, Mr. Kasim Afegbua, for talking to us. And Mr. Andrew Mwanta, constitutional lawyer, thank you so much for coming on today. But that's our show for tonight, everyone. Many thanks for watching. I'm Sean Kimale. Bye-bye.